Fantastic. Okay, we are live with David Salz. I'm so sorry, my pronunciation of names from that region is terrible. I'm surprisingly, I'm okay with some of the Polish names, I guess. But certainly a lot of the other names I am not so great. I hope I got that pronunciation correct.
Yeah, Salz is actually German.
Okay.
My last name is Smrž because
Smrž, okay.
That's a tongue twister, as it's a roller coaster as well. So I didn't want to name my brand something like 99% of the population cannot pronounce, and Salz was the better choice.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for being understanding. And welcome to the Guitarbench interview.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, real pleasure. I think I've been looking forward to this for a long time. Without further ado, let's get started. And just to see, the usual first question for me is, how did you get started with building?
Well, I always been around music my whole life, and I started playing bass when I was in elementary school, and after that I came to middle school still playing, and like every other kid, I didn't know what to do after that. So I worked a little, and then out of everybody, my mom suggested that there's a luthier school in a city like hour from Prague, the capital city. And it was just, I knew I wanted to work with my hands. I always loved wood, and it's just like the two words came together. I had a vision that I wanted to build myself electric bass guitar, and that was like 5-6 years ago, and never got to it. I fell in love with acoustics and stayed with them. So that's like long story short.
That's really nice. That's awesome. And I guess the question is, what are you up to at the moment?
At the moment, I'm having commission that's pushing my boundaries or pushing the limits what I can do. It's flat top with floating bridge on it, so it's a way bigger instrument that I'm used to make. It's a whole 16 inches in the bottom. It's basically, the idea behind it was I want to make the client wanted to make a jazz guitar archtop, but slightly something like a hollow body, but combined with a flat top. So there's a lot of design features on his side that I needed to incorporate in it. Like there's you're gonna see it's on an Instagram of mine, all of it. It's
cool.
It's gonna be, I think it's gonna be super nice once it's all done.
Great, awesome. And and sort of just going back a bit, I know that you're based in the Czech Republic, and I think before we got on the call, before I started recording, I was just mentioning, there is quite a large and significant U3 community in the Czech Republic. Like, I think most people are aware of some of the guitar builders and mandolin builders, especially. Very high quality U3 skills coming up from there. I guess, how is the culture, how is the community in the Czech Republic?
It's, as you said, there are a lot of builders here, because we've had 2 schools, and right now I think we only have one. The one maybe I'm not sure about it. I'm not gonna try to. Yeah, we have. I went to one, and it's that's the reason why we have so many luthiers. And it's, I'm not gonna throw dirt at them, but they teach the really traditional copies of Martins and Gibsons, and it's really nice to like have the fundamentals of building. But after that, I don't think I know about couple of guitar makers in Czech Republic who are really looking into the world and incorporating the modern ways of building, but there's still a lot of guys just keeping up with the tradition and just I don't want to say just they like to keep their traditions, and everything modern is not looked well upon in their eyes. But we have some amazing like electric guitar builders and also acoustic guitar builders, which are inspiration to me because they are just world class.
Great. And and in terms of getting materials and tools, is it pretty easy?
Yeah, it's in Europe. I would say I'm sourcing a lot of my stuff from, for example, Madinte, which is based in Spain. They source the Crelicum ebony from Bob Taylor's mill, and it's something once I've learned about how ebony was milled and like harvested and what they were doing with the trees. It was mind-boggling to me, because I think they harvested the way that they cut the tree almost to death, and then they leave it to drain so it won't crack that much, and then like a year later they just cut it. It was a little bit weird for me. And so I'm sourcing a lot of stuff from them, from Maderas Barber as well, which is from Spain. And I think I don't have problem with sourcing materials and tools, but I really don't like paying the fees when I want to order something from America or outside of the EU, and then I pay like 20% of the tax on it, and it's something I really want to. What's the word? Like don't. I'm trying to find the stuff in EU when I can.
And that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense, and I guess coming back to, coming back to the woods and the availability, I guess, what are some of your favorite woods?
Well, still, moon spruce from Switzerland. It's absolutely incredible stuff what they have. We have some of like local Czech spruces, but it's nowhere similar to the alpine stuff I can get from Switzerland. There's the fee and the tax on it, but it's worth paying for me. You mentioned Wenge before. when we were talking, I made 3 necks out of it. It was such a pain to work with. The last batch was even bound in Wenge, but in the end, the looks really been worth it. I know it's weird to say that I enjoy working with it, but the end result for me was something that it paid for the pain I had once while working with it.
Right. I guess for the for our viewers, one of the things about Wenge is because number one, it's very splintery. So for I think David will tell you, try to kill you with its splinters. Number one, and
it's fighting back you.
It fights you all the way, man. And the and it's got a really open kind of grain structure. So essentially, you try and fill the grain to level it, right? And it just keeps absorbing anything that you put on it. It's pretty mad.
Yeah, I didn't try to do a full gloss finish on it because I knew I had no chance. The necks were a little bit heavier than I would, because it's Wenge, it's not mahogany or cedar. So I didn't want to make the pain for the player to have even a gloss neck on there. And I remembered I have some sets of Czech cherry, which is
Mhm.
yeah, I can remember the Latin name now. It's not the American cherry, but I've made a nylon guitar, like a
Mhm.
classical crossover with modern steel string
Mhm.
about 2 years ago,
Hmm.
and that's still to this day one of the most beautiful guitars. When I see the photos,
Mhm.
I'm super sad that it's overseas in America, because I would love to have some of my friends have it so I can see it once again in person.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, I I think I remember seeing that cherry. It's very nice.
Yeah,
And
I've never seen since then another cherry that's figured like
mm,
that. It's
mm,
super flamey, and I have 2 sets left, and
mhm.
it's gonna be hard when the last one goes away.
Yeah, and and I think for the people watching, I mean, can you describe the kind of tone that you get out from that cherry?
Well, that one was a little bit harder to grasp, because I've made just one nylon string prior to that guitar, and the whole classical sound is really muddy. It's not muddy; it's more bassy.
Mhm.
And this one we've tried to
Mm,
a little bit tame the bass, just
mm,
put more middles and clarity in there. And I don't know how much the cherry helped, because I had to even redesign the back bracing. He wanted to use a tonewood amp on there, so he could like put effects
mm,
through the back
mm,
to the whole instrument.
mhm,
So
mhm,
I'm not quite sure I can tell you how much what's the tonal properties of that,
mhm,
but from working with it, from the density, I would say it's kind of similar to walnut, but
mm,
a little bit stiffer.
mm,
All the fruit woods are kind of brittle, and
mm.
they smell amazing once you start planing them or sanding them. It's like having a cotton candy shop in the workshop.
Yeah, yeah. I remember pear's really nice.
Hmm.
Applewood is really nice, and even some of the well, I mean, walnut is technically a fruit. Is well, I suppose it is a bit of a fruit root, maybe, maybe, but definitely cherry's very nice, and cherry makes very nice necks as well.
Hmm.
Uh, nice quartered cherry neck is actually very nice. It's as nice as mahogany, in my opinion, when you get a nice piece of it. So um, definitely Tonewood to consider, and maybe we can just go into a little bit about sort of what kind of finishes you're using, because um, you know uh, it's always a big topic about what finish is really the ideal finish. And what finish sort of sounds the best is maybe two different things, right?
Yeah, it's from the Finnish perspective. I try to do my finishes all in my shop,
Hmm.
but when clients wants something that's has color added to it, I don't have a spray booth.
Hmm.
I would love to have a spray booth to do properly myself, but I have a friend in Kolín, which is like a 45 minutes drive,
Mhm.
who makes absolutely gorgeous electric guitars. It's he's the Wolf Guitars, if you wanna
Mhm.
find him.
Mhm.
And from the finishes perspective, he uses only nitro, and
Mhm.
he's like proper master finisher, because what he can do, it's for me just watching him work, it's like listening to poetry. So I that's when I need to do a spray finish, I go to him. But in my shop, I tried shellac. It smells great for me as well. I love working with it, but it's a little time uh, consum. Oh, it's
Consuming, yeah, yeah.
consuming. Yes, thank you. But so now I'm trying to shift a little bit towards the Ken Parker style of finishing, and have the texture of the wood not hidden under a full gloss finish. And I really love the wood structure and having a satin finish on an instrument. And I never liked glossy instruments from the perspective, yeah, just from the feel of it. And I really don't enjoy glossy necks. So when I can, the neck is always satin, and the body depends on what the player wants.
Got it. Awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, David. I know our time is perhaps coming a little bit to the end, but so maybe I can sort of just start to wrap up a little bit by asking you, what's next for you? What's next on the horizon for you?
Well, I'm in a process of designing. Right now, I have my model, which is the size of an OM, and I want to make something a little bit smaller, like almost like a parallel guitar, but 12 frets to the body with a cutaway and some little bit of more shenanigans going on there. I'm gonna keep my secrets in here.
Yeah.
And that's something I really am looking forward to have expand a little bit of my models to in offering, because I personally really enjoy the challenge of getting a huge sound out of the smaller instruments. And that's for me is where the fun begins.
That is great. That is super awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. And we should definitely catch up with when that when that 16-inch guitar is is coming done, and we can take a look at it. And
I can send you again the files, the folder with photos.
Yeah, that would.
I would love to share it with everyone.
Yeah, be very happy to share with everybody. So thank you again, and we will catch up soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks. Thank you.
Take care. Too. Bye.
Bye-bye.